I sometimes get asked about what yarn to use in a blanket, and as with a lot of answers, I'm going to start with it depends. And the reason it depends is it depends on what you like to knit with, who the blanket is for, and how the blanket will be treated afterwards. So in terms of what you like knitting with, if you know that you will only comfortably knit with a very soft yarn, then that needs to be your priority number one, because of the fact that you want the whole knitting experience to be pleasant for you. So that's kind of the starting place. Next one is, who's the blanket for? Is it for you, or are you going to gift it to somebody else? If you're gifting it to somebody who perhaps has never really dealt with hand knits before, then that's going to fit into it. You may perhaps need to go down the route of superwash yarns, or ones that can take a little bit more abuse. If it's for yourself and you're happy to hand knit, then the world is your oyster. You just get to pick what the fibres you like are. What I also find is really important is, regardless of which choice of yarn you make, you want to make sure that the texture you get from it, the stitch definition you get from it, is going to work with the stitch patterns that you're working with. So for instance, if you're doing something with cables, you want to make sure that the cables are going to look well with the yarn that you've picked. So that if you pick something that's a little bit too fine for the project and it's cables, it's going to look very gappy and open, and it's not going to look very finished at the end. So make sure that the yarn weight you're picking is matching with the stitch type you like. And then the final thing is, of course, how you're going to actually be using it afterwards. Is it something that you want to be able to throw at the kids, or is it something that will take pride of place and be minded? So if it's going to be minded, again, you can use a more delicate yarn because it's going to be well looked after. But if it's something that you know is going to see quite a bit of abuse, but you want it to be held up, then you're going to want to look at wools that are perhaps a bit more robust and a bit hardier, or superwash, or perhaps even a non-plant fibre, a non-animal fibre. So those are all the kind of things that you need to think about when you're picking your yarn and figuring out what one is going to work best for you with your knitting and you with your finished product.